Hello everyone, welcome to this new video on how to fine tune the latest model DeepSeek R1 to create a medical chatbot or any of your custom use cases. For this, I'm going to use Unsloth library for fine tuning and I'm going to use 1db for logging and for computation thanks to Kaggle kernel. We are going to use that for free. Let's jump into the video right. First, why am I choosing this R1? You see, in the last 1 week or so, DeepSeek R1 has been the talk of the town, beating up even the best model in the world right now, which is O1. And this model is completely open source. Those models which outperformed O1 were 671 billion, but DeepSeek were kind enough to release a distilled version of DeepSeek R1, and that is DeepSeek R1 distilled Llama 7 8 billion. Okay, and we are going to use that model to create our medical chatbot where if you give a symptom or a use case stating that, like there is a person like this, he's facing these symptoms, what is going on with him? If you're going to give a question like that, the model will think and reason what is going on and finally will give its output. Something like this. Here you can see. When I gave a question of, a 67-year-old man with type 2 diabetes, mellitus, and so on and so forth. I'm giving a case history for, uh, you know, DeepSeek R1, which I fine tuned. And it was thinking, like, okay, let me consider these kind of things. These are the symptoms. So, what is going on? And finally, once its thinking is completed, it came to a conclusion that, like you should get nasal antihistamine, and it is used for common types of allergies and running nose. It is generally safe. And if you are having any medications for diabetes, it doesn't interfere with that. So this should be the good one for you to take while you're having a diabetes and for a cure of cold. So that is what is being said by ChatGPT and sorry, not ChatGPT. Technically, it's not ChatGPT. It's our own ChatGPT for medical. Okay, because the quality is of such level, right? Now let's see how we can create this kind of a model for. Okay, this is completely free and you are not going to pay a single rupee to anyone to create this chat. I'll walk you through each of the cells step by step. All right, let's jump into the video. First, I'm installing Unsloth, and here what we need to do is we need to reinstall Unsloth with the Git repo because they make a lot of updates, and DeepSeek R1 is one of the latest. How can I say latest model? So in that case, they will have this issue of like not supporting. So before they release as a pip library, still there will be a Git repo. So we are gonna clone that and install based on that. Now my session is starting. If you are gonna make a session, make sure that your accelerator shows a GPU. So for example, I have a GPU T4 into 2. You can also click P100 and it will also work. Okay, because even though I'm clicking 2, I'm gonna use only single GPU. Yeah, and people who are wondering why I'm not using Google Colab, Google Colab is just not working very well. That is the issue. Other than that, nothing. So right now my installation is completed, and if you're wondering how I know, because like this cell shows 1, so I'm assuming it's completed. Okay. Now, for this you need two things. One is an API key from 1db, which you can get once you create an account. And another one is creating a HF token. For those who are following this channel regularly, you will know how to create a Hugging Face token. So make sure that you create those. But you might not know how to create a Kaggle secret. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you out to create a Kaggle secret, which is like, in Google Colab, there will be a secret key section right here. That section is a bit of hidden, I'll say. So you can click add-ons here, click secrets, and whatever key you have as an environment variable or whatever it is, just go put some name, put your value here, and that will be stored. Okay, you can easily get. So if you want to delete it, you can delete it. If you want to edit it, you can edit it. Anything is done. So I'm having my Hugging Face key and 1db API key here. So right now I'm logging in into my Hugging Face account. Make sure that you have right access so that you can push your model. And I'm getting my 1db API key, creating a project in 1db API key, 1db account, so to speak. So that is what is happening here. So I'm logging in into my 1db account. Now in Unsloth, the good thing is that the training is very fast and it takes very less GPU compared to, like normal um, transform library. Okay, there are some optimizations which they have done. We don't care about that. Why would we? Like they have done their job. Our job is to find you. Okay, we are not gonna see what is going on. If you're gonna say fast language model, I'm gonna take your word for that. Okay, and here you can see we'll patch your computer to enable 2x faster free fine tuning. Wow, thank you so much, man. That is what is my feeling. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. All right. So here, my max sequence length, like how long I'm gonna generate. Because if I let him think, he's gonna think it for 10 minutes and 15 minutes or so, and I don't need that, right? So my max sequence length is going to be 2048 tokens. And right now I'm not just specifying any D type, but you can specify it as torch bfloat 16 if bfloat 16 is supported, or normal torch float 16 and make sure it is a float precision 16 training. How you can do that? Let me show you at the behind, like at the later part of the video. And in load in 4-bit, we have set it to true so that you can train in the model in a quantized manner. And since it is a 8 billion model, it is very huge in size. You know, when I run this, you'll understand how huge it. So until this guy is being created, right? What let's do is let's go through the code cells. I think that would be a very good way until this guy loads because he'll take at least 5 to 6 minutes. I'm assuming with my current internet speed. So here I'm having a prompt format which says below is an instruction that describes a task with a paired with an input that provides a further context. Write a response that appropriately completes the context. And I'm saying like you need to think step by step and ensure there is a logical and accurate response. Here my instruction is that you are a medical expert with advanced knowledge. Gateway timeout error. So right now, finally I solved my error. All I did was restart session, and if you're facing that error, just restart your session and it will work. Okay, so let us continue with our exploration. So I'm saying you're a medical expert with advanced knowledge in clinical reasoning, diagnostics, and treatment planning. And I'm saying like please answer the following medical question. So where I say like a medical use case or so to speak, a patient history, and then give some diagnostics based on that. So here I will provide my question. So that is why there is a placeholder here. And then I'll say like, for response, start thinking and put your responses here. And once that is done, your answer is going to be here. Okay. So the thinking is nothing but your reasoning stage. So we'll have a reasoning. And what is the data set which we are going to use? We are going to use something known as medical O1 reasoning SFT dataset. Okay. So if you want to see the dataset, just go to Hugging Face and put this here. Okay, and here you can see there is question, complex COT, which is nothing but his reasoning of how things are happening, and finally his response. Like, no, this is my diagnostic. So this is the data set which we are going to use here. So unfortunately, my Chrome is giving me some issues. Pardon the full screen not coming up. Okay. I'll make sure that next video it doesn't have this issue. So right now the model is downloaded. Here you can see it is around 5.96 gigs, and the tokenizer and other steps are also downloaded. All are there in the model and tokenizer. Okay, so here we have our prompt format function where like you will take your question, you will take your chain of thought thinking, your response, and all of those will be formatting this train prompt style which I was here given here. Okay, so when I gave here three empty curly braces, right? Those are like placeholders. And here your input, which is here, your chain of thought reasoning, and your output all will be formatted with your train prompt style. And finally, you will add a EOS token because that is how we can make him stop generating. Okay, so that is what is there here. And now I'm gonna load the data set. But if you saw the data set, right, it would have had around 26,000 rows. And if I'm gonna train for that long, it is not gonna be there for me. So I'm just going to take the first 1,000. Okay, so let me call that. It is going to take up the first 1,000 rows, make a split out of it. And unfortunately, I'm giving an error. Oh, train prompt style. I haven't run the function. Now I think it should work. Yeah, here you can see. Below is an instruction and blah, 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 blah. Your instruction is here. Your question is here. And here starts your response. You start thinking here. Okay, let's think about it step by step, blah, 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 whatever it's there. And whenever he finishes thinking, which is here, he'll say systometry in this case. and so on. Like he'll give his diagnostic report. I think we can name this guy some name. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, whatever name you want to put it for our R1 medical chatbot. So I'm not sure. Probably Doctor One, something like that. Doctor R1, Doctor One, probably something like that. And here we are gonna use LoRa adapters because this model is too good. I don't want it to lose information from its past training. So I'm gonna use a LoRa adapter and then I'm gonna adapt it only for medical task. Okay. So I'm using LoRa rank 16. Target modules is all the linear layer modules. Like whatever it's their attention, feed forward, everything is gonna be my target module. I'm gonna train the LoRa adapters for every layers in the model, and then I have my LoRa alpha, LoRa dropout, bias. There should not be any bias provided while like initialization of the LoRa layers. I'm gonna checkpoint my gradients, and I'm not gonna use RF LoRa loft tube. Okay, and here I'm importing my SFT trainer, which is from TRL library. Thanks to them, our training process is always easier. And from training transformers, we are importing training arguments. And from unsloth, we are checking if there is a support for bfloat 16, because bfloat 16 is far better than fp16, but a lot of GPUs might not support bfloat 16. For example, this GPU which I'm training on in Kaggle does not support bfloat 16. Okay, so if there is not a support for bfloat 16, we'll go for fp16. That is there. Okay, what are the parameters I need to provide? So first, for my SFT trainer, I need to provide training arguments, and what is my max sequence length, what is my text field, what is my data set, what is my tokenizer, why is these are provided. So what this SFT trainer will do is it will go through the data set, go to the text field, tokenize it with the help of tokenizer, and then feed it into the model, where if there is a requirement for padding and truncation, it will see the max sequence length. And to process these, there will be two processes. Okay, data loader num workers, we usually call it. So multi-processing happens there for data processing. And while training, the arguments are going to be two samples per GPU, but here it is going to be a single GPU training, so it doesn't matter. And gradient accumulation steps is 4, which means after 4 steps of training only backpropagation will happen. Until then, your gradients will be accumulated just by like add function. Like that's how it happens. And warm up steps is 5. So until then, the learning rate, it will go in a linear way upwards, and then it will start to converge. Okay, your max steps is 100. If learning rate, I'm just going to keep it very large, because the model already knows a lot of things. I don't want it to learn slowly and forget the old things and all. Though I'm using LoRa, I don't want it to adapt a lot. Just minimal adaptation is fine. So 2e minus 4 is good enough. And since I'm using a quantized model, I'm using Adam W 8-bit. Now you might wonder where is 4-bit, because we are loading it in 4-bit. There is not an optimizer for 4-bit, so we are gonna just use 8. Okay, and here we have our learning rate scheduler, which is linear, so it will go down linear. Okay, so if I'm using warm up steps is 5, so it will go from 0 to 5 like this, and then it will go like this. Okay, that's how the learning rate goes. And then a seed value set, and then an output directory where I want to save my model. And I'm setting push to hub as true, so that I can push my model to hub while it is training. Okay. And if I call trainer the train function, it will take 30 minutes. I'm not going to bore you with that. Okay. Once it is done, if you run this function, which is model push to hub and tokenizer push to hub, it will push your LoRa adapters and your tokenizer. But we want the original model as well, right? So what you can do is you can call the push to hub merged function, where you need to provide a saved method. So what it will do is, instead of merging the model with the quantized llama, it will merge it with the FP16 llama, which is DeepSeek R1 llama, and then it will be pushing it to the hub. But you can also merge it with a 4-bit or an 8-bit quantized DeepSeek R1, and then also push that. Okay, so for that you can use this function. And while inference, what you should not do is you cannot add the closing thing tag, because that is something our model should generate. Okay, it should think how long it wants, and then it should continue with its response. Okay, so here the instruction remains the same. I'm providing my question, and after think tag I've left a placeholder. Why? Because Here I'm just gonna say like empty, continue from there. If you didn't put this as well, it will be fine, but if you want to add some value before, it is also fine. And when I did that, like he gave a long analysis and said like, for diabetes, I'm just going to say antihistamine for your nasal symptoms. For now, take this and then consult the doctor. Okay, guys, by the way, this is just for educational purposes. I'm not doing a real training here because we can't afford that kind of a GPU. But if you want to see how to replicate DeepSeek R1, let me know in the comment section. I'll try to do that as well. And what are the videos you want next, let me know in that as well. Soon I'll also continue the course. I'm back after a long time. I was not well for a long time, so right now I'm just getting recovered. So yeah, I'll see you all in another video. Until then, happy learning.